Hello everybody, my name is Shadows and welcome to a commentary video. A fun fact, I actually have not recorded a proper commentary video since my video games video about a year ago, which absolutely blew up. I really didn't expect that video to reach the audience that it did, and I just wanted to quickly thank each and every one of you who showed support and love on that video, as it truly does mean a lot to me. Now, I'm aware that I'm not really the best at commentary videos. I don't really know how to make them, but I am passionate about the topic that I'm talking about, so that's why I'm making these videos, and hopefully someone will enjoy them. Now, in that video, I discussed why video games aren't fun anymore, and if you haven't seen it, I will have a link in the description and on screen right now that you can go click on to watch that. However, in this video, I'm going to be discussing the future and how technological advancements are going to affect video games. So without further ado, I've been rambling on for far too long, and let's get right into the main meat of this video. Now, how I like to look at it is there is old video games, or the past, there are modern video games and video game consoles, and then there is the future, or the unknown. Now, let's take a look at the past and see how far we've come since the early stages of video game development. The very first game to ever be published is Pong, which was developed by a physicist named William Higginbotham in October of 1958. Now, I more than likely butchered his last name, but that's not the important part here. The main thing to take away here is that William was able to design a program that has dynamic colliders in the surfaces that were able to detect when another object was coming in contact with it. Not only this, but people were actually able to play a game. Before this, TVs were only something used for watching a show or looking at a televised program, but now people were actually able to control what they saw on the screen. This was extremely revolutionary and shaped consoles to what they are today. The first ever video game console that was released was the Odyssey, which was released in September of 1972. This console was manufactured by Magnavox and was released in North America. The games were played on the console via cartridge, similar to the Nintendo 64. The games on this console would be black and white, but the color would be added on the TV if you had a CRT television. Now, all of these were pretty much just baby steps for the gaming industry, because before this, the gaming industry didn't exist. This is what shaped it. Oh, speaking of old consoles, I myself actually grew up with a V-Smile. And I'm not too sure if any of you guys would be familiar with what that is, but basically it was this simple console that was made out of plastic and didn't really look too sturdy, to be honest. And it had one controller with a joystick on it and a couple buttons, and had some pretty simple games on it, but I can't lie, it was one of the most fun things in my entire childhood. A shout out to anybody who grew up with a V-Smile. Anyways, video game consoles slowly moved over from cartridges into CD-ROMs, or just CDs. The first of which being the Sega Genesis. The CD approach works so much better than the cartridge because the CD drive can actually shine a laser at the surface on the CD, and it detects reflective areas and bumps by the amount of laser light they reflect. Those laser light reflections are then transformed into binary ones and zeros for the console to read. This CD format was used for a very long time and is still being used. The PlayStation 1 through 4, the original Xbox to Xbox One, even the Xbox Series X, even the PlayStation 5, they all still use CDs. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of CDs because I couldn't count how many times I would scratch up a disc, or a disc would get dirty somehow and would be completely unusable afterwards. It's an effective method, but kind of a hassle in the long run. In today's day and age, I would say the most popular form of video games is digital download. Instead of having to insert a cartridge or a disc or anything, you can just download it off the internet. This method is so much more convenient and just works way better in the long run for everyone. I am currently a PC gamer and probably will be for the rest of my life, considering how much better they are than consoles. I hope you won't get offended by that if you are a console player, as I pretty much grew up only on console. Now, I did play Minecraft and Gmod back in the day on my old shitty PC that barely ran, but other than that, it was just Xbox and Wii and PlayStation and all the classics. I remember back in the day, when I was like 10 or 11 years old or something, I had my friend come over and we were playing Minecraft on my old computer, and he was telling me about this mod that I could download, and I never modded Minecraft at this point, so he was trying to install it on my computer and he ended up just bricking the whole thing, so I had to run a malware scanner. Now, for privacy purposes, I am not going to disclose this person because it would be completely unreasonable for me to throw them under the bus, and I'm looking at you, Crackers. Anyways, wait, where was I? Oh shit, that's right. Console versus PC. Alright, got it. PC is just objectively so much better because there's so much more customization that you could do to the actual PC itself. There are thousands and thousands of third-party programs that you could run to help your game perform better. There are a plethora more games than there are on console. You can run games at much higher FPS. You can do other things in the background while you are playing the games. You have more control with a keyboard and a mouse. You can change inputs. There's just so much more that you can do that you just can't get on a console. Also, that I mentioned, there's 144 hertz. I heard NVIDIA is working on a 360 hertz monitor, and that sounds absolutely crazy because I'm on a 144 and I can only imagine how smooth a 240 is. 360 hertz just sounds insane. But anyways, back to the main topic of this video. Sorry I got so sidetracked. The PS5 and the Xbox Series X are pushing the limits on current consoles, but we can only go so far. Same goes for the 30 series graphics cards that just got released. Games can only get so pretty and so immersive and so fun until eventually there's a plateau, and I believe that we've already hit this plateau. But there's one thing in the video game industry that has fascinated me more than anything else, and that thing is virtual reality. VR is actually pretty much the main reason I wanted to make this video. With all other forms of video games being on a screen, VR, actually putting yourself in the environment, opens up a whole new doors for immersive and new experiences. I myself own an Oculus Rift, and I'd say I've had it for about 2 years. My absolute favorite game that I've played on VR has to be Echo VR. I enjoy this game so much, not because it's fun, not because all my friends play it, but because it's fascinating. The thing about Echo VR that's so different from all other VR games is it takes place in a zero-gravity environment. Because of this stipulation, you have to grab surfaces around you and pull yourself around to move. I have never seen this concept in any other game besides Echo VR and Lone Echo, which is developed by the same company. When I play this game, I don't feel like I'm playing a game. I feel like I'm partaking in the future in a sense. When I was a kid, when I was first born, I couldn't go out and get a VR headset and play this. It wasn't around back then. This is an advancement that's been made within my lifetime. Another game that I think captures how advanced VR has gotten pretty well is Boneworks. The reason why I like Boneworks so much is because it has a lot to do with colliders and physics. Every surface you touch, every weapon or object you grab, every enemy you shoot or touch, every environment that you're in, everything is filled with dynamic colliders that interact with you. If you have a virtual reality headset, I would highly recommend downloading Echo VR. It's completely free and it's pretty casual, and you could just mess around with the physics and see what it's like. If you have $30 to spend, Boneworks is also a really good game that I think everyone should experience in their lifetime. Now, all of this stuff is really cool and it's all really new, but it's not really the future per se. Reactive environments, colliders, and virtual reality have all been around for a few years, more or less, give or take, at this point. A new technology that's in its early stages as of right now has really been piquing my attention recently. This thing is called a haptic suit. Now, if you're unfamiliar with a haptic suit, I would highly recommend you go over and watch Thrill Seeker's video on him demonstrating it, because he makes a lot of really good VR videos and I just recently found out about him. In short, a haptic suit is a vest and gauntlets and shoes and basically a full body suit filled with motors that vibrate. What these motors are supposed to do is simulate the feeling of touch. If you get shot on the right side of your chest, the motor that corresponds to the area that you've been shot in will start vibrating and give you a jolt and make you feel like you've actually been shot in a sense. Not only are haptic suits cool for a player versus entity environment, but also a player versus player environment. Maybe a player versus player environment isn't the best way to describe it, more of a multiplayer environment. Using a haptic suit in VR chat, you're able to feel the touch of another person putting their hand on your shoulder or grabbing your foot or hand. You can feel it all.
Giving and receiving hugs in VR chat and actually feeling them is a feeling that I don't think the human brain was meant to register. I see my friends, I hear them, but as I'm hugging the air in real life, I feel my friends. I think my own lack of social interaction this year makes this whole situation a lot sweeter and more important than it actually is, but it's still an incredible feeling.
Now, let's talk about Skyrim for a second. Everybody knows and loves Skyrim. It was one of my first games on the Xbox 360. I played it a ton as a child, and honestly, the game brings back a lot of nostalgic memories for me. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that experience. In Skyrim VR, with a haptic suit on, when it rains, all the motors on your shoulders, your chest, your back, start to vibrate ever so slightly, not so much so that it's intrusive, but to the point where it feels like it's actually raining on you.
Quite literally, my body was vibrating. Lightly though, just enough to make me stop for a moment and look around. And then it started raining. I literally can't put in words my emotions at the time. Under my feet, I could feel the roaring water, and all over my body, I could feel the raindrops hitting me. This is a game that I've played so many times and added so many wacky mods that nothing phases me in it anymore. I've been there and I've done that, but here I am, standing in my room with a VR headset on, strapped down with devices all over my body, playing that same game, and I'm absolutely breathless. Not because anything is actually happening, but because I feel more transported to this world that I love than ever before. I'm there, feeling the rain and roaring water. Of course, I'm not actually wet from the rain, and the sensation is technically just vibrations, but more than ever before, I am there. It's the closest I have ever felt to being in a virtual reality.
Being able to walk around the Skyrim universe in virtual reality while feeling the rain pour on you is an experience that I could only imagine. Thrillseeker gives a very good explanation of this in his video. I think this is where the future of video games is headed. As cool as haptics are, there are a few issues with it. Firstly, an entire haptics bodysuit probably costs around $1,000, and that's a price that not everyone can pay. Not only is it a ridiculous price, but also it's not a true sense of touch. Sure, when you're in the headset and you're playing, your mind tricks yourself into thinking that it's touch, but it's not actually touch, it's a vibration. A virtual reality device that is able to fire neurons within the brain unintrusively to trigger a feeling of touch throughout the body would be the biggest breakthrough in gaming history. Another huge thing to make us feel fully immersed in a virtual reality is the sense of smell. There's a company called Feel Real which has actually made a device that can provide a sense of smell. I haven't seen any reviews on it or tried it for myself or anything, so I don't know how well it actually works, but I'm still skeptical. When sight, sound, touch, and smell are all put together, this creates a scenario of the most immersive VR experience possible. Horror games in VR are infinitely more terrifying than they are on desktop. Me and my friend actually played the game Phasmophobia VR together, and we tried playing it on desktop version versus playing it in VR, and the difference was massive. Sure, jump scares and flashing lights and whatever on a screen are scary, but it only gets so scary. When you actually put yourself in those eyes, put yourself in the environment, like you're standing in it, everything is 3D, you're actually there, everything becomes 1,000 times more terrifying. And that's why VR is so fascinating to me. It can play tricks on your brain in certain ways, and there's so much depth to it that we haven't yet uncovered. Maybe in 20 years we'll look at things like the Valve Index or the Oculus or the HTC Vive and see them how we look at the Odyssey from 1958, how we do now. There's no way to predict the future per se, but video games get more advanced and more immersive as every day progresses. Companies are working on new things, new advancements are being made, and it's all really exciting to think about. And honestly, I'm glad I was born in this time. A time where we're past primitive technology, but still not at the advancements of sci-fi. There is still so much to be discovered with technology and virtual realities and altered realities, and I'm honestly glad to be a part of it all. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I tried to keep it as interesting as possible while still giving my input on everything. I'm kind of at a point where I don't really know what I want to do with my channel right now, so I'm just kind of throwing this video out here to see how it does, or if it's well received, or people like it and want to see more commentary videos like this. I enjoy making these, so if you guys want to see more stuff like this, just let me know down in the comment section below. Oh, also, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/officialshadowstv, so you could stop by there, say hi to me if I'm live, and we can chill. But yeah guys, that about wraps it up for this video. I appreciate it if you've stuck around long enough to hear me say this at the end, but a like and a comment would be greatly appreciated. Feel free to subscribe if you like videos like these, as it lets me know that you guys are enjoying them. Thanks again, love you guys, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you later. Peace.